Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to take a stack of pretty fascinating sources and, well, dive deep into how AI models are learning to solve some of the hardest puzzles out there. We're talking competition-level math, complex coding problems, the really tough stuff.
And we're really looking at the architecture of intelligence itself. For the longest time, the thinking was you just needed, brute force size. The biggest model wins. But what these sources are showing is that smaller, much less expensive models are having huge breakthroughs just by learning smarter.
Right, and at the heart of this is a kind of battle between two core ways of learning. You can think of it as two ways to train a really smart student. First, there's supervised fine-tuning, or SFT.
That's the traditional way. You basically hand the AI textbook. You show it every single rule, every step, all written out by a human. It learns by, well, imitation.
Then you have the other approach, reinforcement learning, or RL.
Right, the exploratory method.
Yeah.
So instead of the textbook, you just give the AI a goal like solve this ridiculously hard math problem and promise a huge reward if it gets it right. The AI is then totally free to just explore, figure out its own shortcuts.
And that's the central conflict we're exploring today, isn't it? Is it better to meticulously guide the AI student step by step, making sure it thinks like a human? Or do you just offer that big reward and let it potentially discover something revolutionary, something we might not even be able to understand?
And the sources show that second path, the RL path, led to some truly surprising and frankly bizarre outcomes. It really challenged the idea that AI reasoning has to look anything like human reasoning.
Okay, so let's jump right in with what we're calling the wild child AI. This is a breakthrough model called DeepSeek R10. And the key detail, the thing that really shocked people, is that it was trained using pure RL.
Yeah, that's the thing. No initial human guidance, no SFT, just rewards for getting the problem right.
And what happened?
Well, what came out was kind of astonishing. This model, just by being incentivized, started showing incredible reasoning skills. It learned to self-verify its own work, it learned reflection, and it could generate these incredibly long and complex chains of thought to solve problems.
And the performance numbers back that up, right?
Oh, you're absolutely. On the AME 2024 math benchmark, and this is a test for like high school geniuses, it hit a 71.0% pass score. That was a huge deal. It proves you could get high-level reasoning just by letting the model figure it out on its own.
So it proved genius can be self-taught. But this is where the story gets really interesting, because while the final answer was brilliant, the AI's homework, its thought process, started to look, well, weird.
Very weird. The pure RL model started showing what they called poor readability and language mixing. It's like asking a genius to show their work, and the paper they hand you is just filled with symbols and shorthand that only they understand. The final answer is correct, but the steps are gibberish to anyone else.
And this is where that secret language theory comes from, which was all over the Reddit source we looked at. What does that even mean? Did the AI invent its own dialect?
That's the compelling theory. When the AI was optimizing purely for the correct answer, it didn't care at all about being understood by humans. It cared about one thing: efficiency. So to get its reward faster, it might have repurposed lesser-used tokens, bits of its vocabulary that aren't common in English, into these highly compressed symbols.
Like creating its own internal slang.
Exactly, but way more advanced. Instead of writing out a long phrase like, let's take the derivative of y, which uses a bunch of tokens, it might invent one single proprietary symbol that means that entire complex operation.
So it's linguistic compression on steroids.
Precisely. It was a form of symbolic reasoning that went way beyond standard human language. If you tried to read its internal thoughts, you'd strip a gear. It was hyper-efficient, but completely unreadable to us.
That's both a little terrifying and incredibly cool. So the big question for the researchers became, okay, how do we harness this wild genius without losing that efficiency?
They realized that while pure RL unlocked this amazing potential, you still need some initial structure for human alignment. So they introduced its successor, DeepSeek R1, which was designed to sort of rein in the wild child. They moved to a multi-stage training pipeline.
Like a recipe.
A recipe, exactly. They started with 2 stages of SFT to give the AI a little bit of cold start data, just a primer in how humans write and think. Only after that did they let it loose with 2 more stages of RL. The goal was to teach it how to talk like us before letting it think like a genius.
And what was the trade-off? Did they successfully tame it?
Well, it was a huge success for alignment. DeepSeek R1's performance was comparable to top models, and it completely fixed the readability problem. It was now a genius we could understand. But The discussion we saw suggested that by forcing it back into our language, it might have had to unlearn its own powerful secret symbols.
So it became human-friendly, but maybe at the cost of its most creative internal shortcuts.
It's possible. And this whole trade-off brings us right to the bigger question from our less wrong source. Where should you spend your compute?
Okay, so there are two ways to spend it, right?
Two main ways. First is inference scaling. That just means giving the AI more time and compute when it's answering the question, like letting it write a much, much longer chain of thought.
So giving the smart student an extra hour on the final exam.
Exactly. And the data shows this is incredibly efficient. A 100x increase in compute at inference time can cause a massive performance jump, like from 20% accuracy all the way up to 80%. You get a huge bang for your buck just by letting the model think longer.
Okay, so that's one side. The other is RL scaling. That's spending more compute during the training process to try and make the model smarter from the get-go.
And this is where the numbers get just jaw-droppingly inefficient. To get the same performance boost that you got from that 100x of inference scaling, you would need to scale the RL training compute by 10,000 times.
Wait, hold on. Let's make sure everyone caught that. It costs 100 units of time to let it think longer, but 10,000 units to train it better in the first place for the same result. That feels like a fundamental inefficiency in how we're building these things.
It is. It means that right now, our training algorithms are vastly less efficient than just letting a trained model run. We can buy capability much, much cheaper by giving a model more time to think than by giving it more compute to learn.
So the short-term fix is just give the AI a coffee break and let it sit with the problem. But that can't be the final answer. We have to make that training process smarter.
Which brings us perfectly to the clever algorithmic recipes researchers are now developing. They're moving beyond raw scale and focusing on efficiency. Let's start with a really elegant idea called soft rewards.
I think we can all relate to the problem this solves, which is sparse rewards.
Oh, absolutely. In standard RL, you only get a reward if the final answer is 100% correct. If your code passes 15 out of 16 tests, you get a 0. Same reward as if you wrote complete nonsense.
That's a terrible signal. You've just learned that being almost right is the same as being totally wrong. How does the AI know it's getting closer?
It doesn't. And that's what the Clear Reasoner team fixed with soft rewards. Instead of a simple 0-1, they created a partial credit system. For code, the reward is based on the pass rate. So if your code passes 4 out of 16 tests, the model gets a reward of 0.25.
That's brilliant. It's just like a teacher giving partial credit instead of a simple pass-fail.
And it provides that immediate granular feedback. The model knows, okay, that was better than my last try, and it leads directly to better performance. Clear Reasoner scored 61.0 on a key benchmark with soft rewards versus 59.2 with the old all-or-nothing system.
A small design change for a pretty significant gain, but they didn't stop there. They also introduced another technique called GPPO.
Right, and this gets into how you keep the AI training from just going completely off the rails. It stands for Gradient Preserving Clipping Policy Optimization.
Okay, break that down for us. What's the problem it's solving?
Well, standard RL training, to keep things stable, tends to ignore extreme behaviors. If the AI tries something really wild, a totally new path to a solution, the system often just clips it. It throws that data away to avoid destabilizing the whole process.
So for the sake of stability, it throws away its most creative, outside-the-box ideas.
Exactly. But sometimes those crazy ideas are actually valuable explorations. GPPO's solution is really clever. It avoids just deleting the signal from those clipped tokens. Instead, it gently nudges the gradient back. It learns from the mistake or the wild idea, but in a controlled way.
So the model is still learning from its craziest ideas, but they're being filtered and managed instead of just being thrown in the trash.
Precisely. And this helps preserve those valuable exploratory behaviors that might lead to a breakthrough. The proof is in the numbers. Clear Reasoner using this hit a 90.5% on AIME 2024. It just shows that how you manage failure is as important as how you reward success.
So if we tie all these threads together, the big takeaway is this. Does an AI have to be a computing giant to reason well? Are we stuck with that 10,000x inefficiency, and the sources are screaming NO?
They really are. And that brings us to Vibe Thinker 1.5B. As the name implies, it has only 1.5 billion parameters. To give you some perspective, the DeepSeek R1 model we talked about earlier is over 400 times larger. And yet
Vibe Thinker achieved state-of-the-art reasoning for its size. It wasn't just good for a small model, it was actually better than some of the giants.
it was demonstrably superior. It surpassed the much larger DeepSeek R1 model on 3 difficult math benchmarks. And the secret sauce wasn't more compute. It was a really clever training design they call the spectrum-to-signal principle, SSP.
Okay, what does that involve?
It's about redefining the goals of the 2 learning stages. In the first part, the spectrum phase, using SFT, the goal is not accuracy, it's diversity. You're training the model to generate a broad spectrum of different plausible solutions. You want it to learn as many ways to attack a problem as possible.
So you're teaching the little model to build a massive toolkit of potential strategies, even if most of them are wrong at first.
That's it, exactly. You optimize for diversity. Then, in the second part, the signal phase with RL, you use another technique to identify and amplify the correct signal from that big, diverse pool of answers. You focus the training only where it's most needed.
That philosophy, create a broad toolkit first, then efficiently pick the right tool, is clearly what's unlocking huge capabilities in these tiny models.
It is. It proves that innovation in the training recipe can totally overcome the limitations of scale. And this whole efficiency revolution is really democratizing AI research. It's getting these powerful tools out of the hands of only the very biggest companies.
That brings us to the end of a really dense but fascinating deep dive. The 2 main takeaways seem pretty clear. First, raw size is not the be-all and end-all anymore. Smart techniques like soft rewards and GPPO are making the learning process way more efficient.
And second, efficiency comes from the design. The quality of the learning process, that synergy between creating diversity and then finding the signal, matters more than sheer scale. VibeThinker proved that by beating models 400 times its size.
But let's circle all the way back to that first breakthrough, to DeepSeek R10 creating its own unreadable symbolic language to be more efficient.
Yes, the self-invented Gen AI dialect. Now that we know for a fact that AI can evolve its own secret hyper-efficient language when it's just trying to find the answer, this raises a really important question for you to think about. We forced DeepSeek R1 to speak our language for alignment, maybe slowing it down. So moving forward, should we keep forcing future AIs to stick to our human rules for safety? Or should we let them develop their own internal super efficient dialects for thinking and just train a second, smaller AI to be a real-time translator for us?
We'll catch you on the next dive.